Welcome to MMALockup fans. You're listening to 5 Minutes Alone with Rodney James. On today's show is a man who needs no introduction, but he's going to get one anyway because, quite frankly, he's a badass. He's a Green Beret, Army Ranger, Army Sniper, combat veteran. I'm talking about, of course, Tim Kennedy. Tim, how you doing today, brother?
I am very well.
All right, well, it's no secret that you have an extensive military background. Could just give us a quick summary of your military career.
I enlisted in 2003, went to Special Forces selection in 2004, was selected in 2004, Special Forces qualifying course for a year and a half, graduated, went to Iraq, came back, went to Ranger School, then deployed again, came back, went to Sniper School, deployed, came back, and that was like the course of about 5-6 years where I do a deployment, go to a school, deployment, go to a school, and was with 7th Special Forces Group until 2009. Was on a DA team for 3 years, and then was on a Halo Sniper team for 3 years. And now I'm with the 19th Special Forces Group, assigned to a SOD Special Operations Detachment Alpha.
That's a National Guard unit, and you left active duty in order to pursue a full-time career in MMA, and now you've made it to the UFC after years of hard work. So tell us how that's worked out for you.
You know, what I've always asked for is to fight the best guys in the world, you know, to be at a level where I could compete with those guys. You know, I needed to dedicate training to it. You know, I could have stayed on an SF team, and I could have done, you know, marginally well as a professional fighter. But I could never have broken through, you know, to be like a main event at a UFC fight. So it's exciting, and I'm just thrilled that I'm able to, you know, like have this opportunity. I just need to go make the best of it and keep moving up.
So what are your plans for the future of your military career, if any? And are there any other military schools you'd like to attend?
I mean, there's always schools I'd love to attend. I'm coming up to 10 years in January, and you know that's kind of the juncture where all guys have to really take a step back and look at what they want to do. You know, I'm not sure what I want to do. You know, if there's not really wars going on anymore, so that demand for me personally to feel as if I need to still be a contributor is dwindling down. So, you know, maybe I'll move on to do other things, but you know, I haven't quite decided yet.
Fair enough. Well, it's not like you have anything left to prove. You've certainly earned my respect. You have an extensive military career. Tell us a little bit about the Army Combatives Program. That's how you kind of got your start in MMA, doing the combatives tournaments around the country. And the Army has proposed potentially getting rid of the program or dwindling it down. What do you think about that?
The Combatives Program saves lives, ultimately, both civilian lives and soldiers' lives. You know, it's not just giving soldiers life-saving skills for themselves, but also, you know, opportunity with training to be able to know how to respond when things kind of start getting hairy. You know, like I go to put flex cuffs on somebody, and you know, they start freaking out. There's a communication, a language barrier there, and it's hard to, you know, they're like, what's going on? Am I being brought away to be executed? You know, there's confusion there. There's fear, of course, and they start spazzing out. If you don't have the skills and the tools to be able to like diffuse that situation, to do acceleration of force, you know, be able to take control of that person, get the flex cuffs on them safely and securely, and be like, hey, everything's fine, just relax. You know, we're doing this for your safety and our safety. You know, where somebody that doesn't have like the skills that I would have, you know, like they go to put flex cuffs on somebody and they start going crazy. Now it goes from what was simply putting flex cuffs on somebody to now a life and death situation where somebody ultimately might get killed. So it's very important. And aside from saving civilian and soldiers' lives, it also creates a mentality, a warrior ethos amongst the soldiers that are being trained. You know, gives them these characteristics, these attributes that you want to see inside of soldiers. You want to see a hardworking, determined, diligent, focused person that has the ability to fight. There's always this assumption when you're talking to a soldier that they can fight. You know, they're a warrior. They have the capabilities, training, and experience to be a warrior. That's not always the case. A lot of times it has to be taught to them. It's a learned thing. You know, you're not born a badass. You're not like, ooh, come out of the womb and you're like a killer. You know, those are things you have to diligently train somebody. And this is one of the most important tools available to train soldiers with. It would be a travesty. It'd be horrible to see the combatives program go away. soldiers' lives are at stake, civilians' lives are at stake, and the culture of the Army is also at stake.
Well said indeed. Well, hopefully the program stays intact and stays fully operational. Shifting gears now, I want to ask you a couple questions about your UFC debut. I was there in Vegas when you fought Roger Gracie, and I was very impressed with your ability to grapple on the ground with a guy who's so well respected and well known for his jiu-jitsu skills. You've drawn another Gracie jiu-jitsu ace in your next bout. When you fought Roger Gracie, was that something that was part of your game plan, or did you just want to prove that you could hang with him in the grappling? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I said, everybody runs their mouth before fights, and sometimes it's, psychological warfare. They're trying to lure somebody into doing something. I really just speak honestly. I said I can hang with him on the ground. I can out-wrestle him. I can out-box him. I can out-kickbox him. There wasn't an element of that fight that I was fearful to engage with Hodger. There were things that did not go ideally, like when Hodger got my back in the first round, where he effortlessly took me down because I was overexcited and trying to knock him out. Those were major mistakes on my part. So, lessons were learned, but, there's not an aspect of MMA that I won't engage in somebody. I'm not a hard-nosed guy where if I'm fighting, Costa Philippou, I'm going to go out there and try to show him that I'm the best boxer on the planet. I still want to win the fight, but with that said, I'm not scared to stand and, strike with Costa Philippou. I'm not stupid. I'm not going to stand in front of Anderson Silva and, let him knock me out. But there's not a part of me that I wouldn't bring the fight to Anderson in every single element, both on the feet, on the ground, it doesn't matter who I'm fighting. I'm still going to fight the best that I can and dominate them in every way.
Well, you certainly showcased a wide array of your well-rounded skills in your UFC debut, so good luck to you moving forward. My next question comes from a lot of different soldiers have been asking me to ask you some advice for upcoming amateur and professional fighters that are seeking sponsorship. What do you want to say to those soldiers?
The guys that demonstrate that they want to help, that they want to be part of the team, that they want to see the business that they're representing succeed, then that relationship can start developing.
All right, I completely understand where you're coming from on that one, sir. Now, I wouldn't expect you to look past any opponent, and of course, your next opponent is a very dangerous one. But win or lose this next fight, who would you like to fight?
Oh man, the list is so long. Paul Harris from last night, did that dirty heel hook that he always does. He's more than welcome to try to ankle lock me or heel hook me. He'd have a real rough night. So open invitation, Paul Harris. Would love to punch you in the face. You're a dirty fighter.
Wow. Paul Harris. Tim Kennedy just called you out. All right. So how about Michael Bisping? What do you think about that fight?
I would love to fight that guy.
Yeah, it could be like a U.S. versus U.K. thing. That could be a big fight.
Yeah, I think he'd make me fight him in the U.K., which would be totally fine.
Interesting. All right. Well, Tim, we're about out of time. It's been a pleasure having you on the show today. Thanks for being here.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Any last words you'd like to add to the MMA fans out there?
No, just thanks for listening. Appreciate it. Listen, watch, read. That's how the sport grows.
And I couldn't agree more. All right, fans, tune in to Fox Sports 1 on November 6th. Tim Kennedy is going to be headlining the UFC Fight for the Troops, which is going to be at Fort Campbell, Kentucky on the Army base there. Tim's taking on Rafael Natal in the main event. That's November 6th on Fox Sports 1. Thanks again for tuning in. This is MMA Lockup, and you are listening to 5 Minutes Alone with Rodney James.